This Easter weekend, I did a spot of DIY. Probably looks a bit more like demolition work. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. And there's a reason for it, because as human beings, we're designed to work with our fingers and hands. And in fact, one of our ancestors was called Homo habilis, which means handyman. So why is it so important for us to work with our fingers and hands and not just our brains? And the reason is this: we have a bit in our brain called the sensory strip, and it represents all the parts of our body. So when we feel the sensation of touch, this is where it's registered in the brain. And you can see that the hands and fingers occupy an enormous part of real estate here. So working with our hands, doing physical work, is really important. And in fact, there's something called the Ikea effect, which is a cognitive bias, which means we assign more value to something we made ourselves than it actually warrants. And there's a story in the 1950s, American company General Mills had a cake mix, and it wasn't selling as much as they wanted. So what they did was they removed the egg element and got the housewife to add a fresh egg herself. So by putting more labor into the product, she valued the end product even more. So, moral of the story, I think it's about work-life balance. Don't just work through your weekends. What could you do that gives you pleasure? What could you do that's physical? If DIY isn't your thing, could it be gardening, sports, even knitting is said to improve your mental well-being. So let me know what you've got planned next weekend that's going to make use of these important hands and fingers.